Well, hello there. Let's see what we got here. Sure. Everything happy. Looks like we are. Okay. So, I need this to do. What was I calling this? One moment, please. Oops, that's not right. Get that fired up for me. And get my YouTube title fixed up here real quick. Let's see. Do this real quick. I'm just going to copy this. Right in there, like so. Okay. Be good to go now. Perfect. All right, so let's launch this. I've been busy doing some stuff and some things. Okay, so I have solved, at least for Linux, the issue of being able to make this too tiny. I have a possible fix for Windows. We'll have to test that though on Windows. But I learned, so there's a package that somebody said, well, everybody said was the bee's knees for this. But as soon as I was to snap it and come back, it would be immediately broken. I could make it too small again. So that package not working right. But in here, in Flutter, or was it in Runner? I think it was in Runner. Yes, my application CC. You can set this to give GDK a minimum size that's allowed. And I somewhat arbitrarily picked 600 by 600. So that better. I'm doing some media query stuff, essentially, the Flutter version thereof. So in our login page, we have to use a builder because that's what allows this. That's what allows us to get our constraints. We did that in the example app too, the tutorial app. In this case, we just say, hey, look, if you're below these finals that I've defined here, you need to just become a full screen card. So you can see, oh, I need to tweak that a little bit. So let's go. And make sure, okay, it's pretty close. It's kind of getting squished down there towards the end, but that's fine. In a non-debug, I think it's fine. I hope. If not, we'll have to revisit it, but that's fine. So I've got that. I did... It was a weird screen flicker. That is now a password field that you could hide and do. I got rid of the clearing. I decided I didn't like it. That is now extracted as a reusable widget down here. So we get a login field. It's a stateful widget for the sake of knowing whether or not it's a password field. You provide, when you call it up here, login page, login text field, you provide a label, gives you the label, and then you give it a text controller and whether or not it's a password. Pretty simple. Hopefully not stupid ideas. We'll see. Now we need to wire up this because I also have this. If I do that, I also built a register page. It works very much in the same way, to where if it gets tiny, and this one has to be bigger before it will become a card. But this is sort of like the expected, anticipated screen size, right? So I'm kind of tuning for this, but gracefully falling back to other things is the goal. So we need to, and these work, that screen flicker is really bizarre. Anywho, we also need to wire up the cancel here. So that's going to be our big task for the start here. And I learned a bunch of things about Flutterness along the way. Like how to the login page. This, the stateful widget or stateless widget, both ways look the same. In the const where we describe the key, we're allowed to say these are the required arguments or not required. So that was kind of cool. All right, so let's figure out. There is a thing called a navigator, but I played with that a little bit, and it became problematic because of a couple things. First and foremost, it didn't keep the theming. The background color became black instead of this sort of slightly purpley black. And some other stuff was a little bit weird. And then also, it keeps everything in this other widget, which I'm not sure I love. You have duplicate controllers for these, right? Or not, for username and password. So, I'm not sure exactly how I want to do this. I'm kind of leaning towards making the login page, because there's state issues too, right? Like whether or not you're in this or that, and what you do as a result, right? So we could put this up into the login page and make that a stateful widget, just so it holds the state of login versus register. And that should also kind of, or that would also kind of change the name of it. The other thing that we could do is we could lift it all the way up here and then keep these split off like this and do it at the app's level. And I'm not sure which one I like more. Main is already a stateful widget. So that would kind of simplify that a little bit, right? And then we just swap this out. We would need to do a layout builder, I think? No, I think we just do a ternary here. Which for some reason, I wasn't able to get a regular if statement to work here. It would only take a ternary for some reason, but it's fine. Even though some of the examples were using if statements, and I don't understand what's up with that yet. We'll figure it out someday. I like that idea in a way because it keeps things like this separate, because there's only, you know, if you're in some weird resolution, then this one can still be a card even when this one can't sometimes, right? And then we don't have to worry about anything we change like within this widget won't impact that one, which I kind of like. But we would need to have app state for that. And for that we would need almost like a state machine, right? We would need to do an app state for it, which is I'm reasonably okay with, because I'll tell you why. We're going to need something like that anyway to advance us to character selection, for example, right? To change this here. So doing it now is probably the best idea. I think I'm selling myself on that idea more and more as I go here. So let's do that. We need a global state here, and I don't remember exactly the syntax, but our first Flutter app does. There was notify listeners and all this other stuff we had to do. Let's see. That's a stateless widget. Color scheme. Where did it get moved in here? Generator page. Scroll past it already? I did. My app state extends change notifier. That's what it was. It was change notifier. Okay, so let's put you up here. We're gonna call it client state though. It'll extend change notifier still. And then here, let's see. We need to look up an example. That's not the button. That's the button. Get up there. There we go. Let's do Flutter state machine, I guess, because it's kind of what it is. Okay, there's a library for this. It's interesting. Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So that would be an option, right? The other thing we could do, let's take a look at, let's look at that. That's not as in depth as I was hoping. This is more about the actual state management. Or rather, the actual, like, mechanics of it, not the theory, right? This, I think, is going to be kind of similar, though. Okay, this is more nuts and bolts, not theory. The other problem we're going to have, well, no, because it's in global state. We should be okay. Does this say... Um, oh, we call that function. Okay, yeah. So if these are global, then we should be able to do that. So... it's from Workiva, published 9 months ago. Let's leave that open. But there is... that's some other rando. I think I'd rather rely on a company. What is Workiva? SaaS provides cloud-based connection, reporting, compliance platform. It was used to connecting data. Okay. Cross finance. Okay. Interesting. I'd rather have a company dependency, I think. If I have to have one. Which, I mean, I guess I don't really have to, but... state management for minimalists. Okay. I like the title. Oh, well, it's paywalled, so... sorry, bro. Guess I won't use your thing. State enum. This is like the state of the software, not the state of the app. Kind of looks like. Let's go back and look at these docs. Ephemeral state, yeah, it's in a widget. Perfect. I want app state. This is still, yeah, that doesn't really tell us much. That's the theory at a high level. I think that state machine would really make things easier. See here. Let's see, we got some kind of a blog here. Value notifier, hurt notifier. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, so they're using a model here for that. That makes sense. Copy with method. Okay. Page notifier, valve notifier. Okay. Using the state. Okay, there's a bunch of different options. See, I don't need this scaffolding. Don't think. What I'm trying to do here is pretty basic, right? And I really think that state manager, state machine is the answer here, because I'm going to need more states, right? I need to be able to log out, which should take me back to character selection. So I need to do that. I need to do character creation, which should open another thing, and then go back to character select, right? So I think this is the answer. I think I like this. Let's go ahead and give it a shot here, and if things don't work, we can just take it back out. So we've got our WebSocket. We'll do that at some point. we're still kind of, we're still kind of just laying down scaffolding, right? Before we really worry about connecting to the server. Okay, so we've got that now. We'll pop get. Are we? There we go. Must have missed the button. Okay, and then let's see here. We need to I guess do that. Unnecessary new keyword. Okay. Fine. Take it out then. And we need to define a set of states. Right now, state login, let's just say client state dot new state login. And then well, that's annoying. Can be accessed in an initializer. I guess we would need to do late. What's going on over here in this example that state machine dart. What one of the imports? Let's just do that. Well, I don't want to do that though, because that's going to break this. So that's not a good answer. I had such high hopes for this. What was the other option here? Using as prefix for the import. Use it with prefix. Ah, okay, I see. As Workiva state machine, let's just say. And then we can that that. I guess we'll just have to work with that. And in their example, they don't need to do this as late. Let's go back, take a quick peek again at the state stuff over here. You don't have to do it late over here, but I guess we didn't really change anything either. Okay. I guess we'll just roll with it. Let's see what happens, you know? We're rolling with the best guess, right? Meow. All right, so we've got that. We also need to do late state register account. Like so. And then we need to do the transition register to registration, say, is client state dot new state transition. The name is to registration. Pull these pull these down from login. Let's see. They show because these are lists of valid things. And then 2 is register account. Except this needs to be late. Okay, there we go. And then also we need to say, I believe late just makes sure it runs at the end after initialization. I forgot I was going to look that up. Let's go do that real quick. Start late keyword. Indicate that a non-nullable variable will be initialized later in the code. Non-nullable variable is not initialized before it using it. Raised an error. That's not English. Used as to why this needs late. So in this example, they've declared string title. In this case, this is a late, but they haven't given it anything, right? Initialize variable it uses. Yeah. Because I thought this was defining these things, right? That's why I'm confused. And I'm still kind of confused after reading this, but I'm going to push on for now. I lied. I'm going to read this again first. Oh, you know what? Can I then get rid of this if I declare it as new? I can't. Okay. Let's look at docs. I don't understand. We're going to roll with it, though, and just kind of see if it works, right? If it doesn't, then, oh well. We need a state transition to login. We then declare that you we're allowed to go from register account to log in. Semicolons help. There we go. Okay. It's formatted it all kinds of funky, but that's just what we're going to live with because it's opinionated formatting. Machine should be started at a specific starting state. Okay, so then probably, well, we won't do it unless we need to. Is dot start login. Type annotation. It's a state, and this is late. No. Name of a constructor must match the name of the enclosing class. What? Ooh, okay. I wonder if this is funky because because it's in the change notifier. Nah, this isn't a constructor though. What if we do that? What if we just say go for it? Yeah, same as the declaring class. Maybe this isn't going to work as an answer. Which is a shame. Let's go look at their repo. Okay. Sample code is wrong. New state machine. This was fixed. Missing a required parameter. Which is probably the string name here. Yeah. Which is the doc bug, apparently. Okay. Well, Just double check here. New state, login. Login. This won't change anything other than to complain I didn't annotate. So it looks like, I mean, this is a Dart state machine, not a Flutter state machine, right? It looks like something in the way client state does things is going to make this not viable for us to put it in here, which is kind of where I want to put it because it's just state, right, of the app. So let's go ahead. That's fine. We'll just nuke that really quick. And that will pub get. I don't think that's what we want. We want pub clean or something like that. That's fine for now. Well, now let's do our due diligence here. Flutter pub clean. What was the was it just Flutter clean? It is. And then we can get I think. I hope. We'll find out. Let's actually stop that and restart it just to be sure things are happy. But that leads me back to the drawing board here for I want to see some examples is what I want to see. Okay, so we're happy there now. Still, again, whatever. This is difficult because a lot of this is more like we just do this manually-ish. Let's see here. What's this guy talking about? Never managed taking global variable in Flutter. Okay, so I'm kind of saying not to do what we want, but okay. Mm-hmm. So they have navigation between pages going on here. Mark needs build a first page is never called. Okay. Value notifier. But I don't have that problem really. Okay, so he's just basically saying you should use a state manager. I don't want to do that though. I don't need to solve the problem that they're trying to solve. I'd like to just see like some sort of intelligent discussion about page swapping using this, right? But it doesn't really seem. Let's try. Okay, this is a little bit similar to what we want. So they're trying to only after log and the app component are fully created. Okay. We did something. I guess maybe we should look back at the navigator. It had some issues, but I guess I was putting it down in the other um the other deal there. So in this case, yeah, it's a route. Other what you want is to trigger a rebuild of some widget that is a parent of login page and desktop, or you can call run app again. Yeah. So they're saying that what I was trying to do is probably the better way. Okay. see here. Bottom navigation to switch the page content. And I think that's what we did in our we did the nav bar, but if I'm not mistaken, let's go double check. We had, yeah, so the page on the homepage state page is what we did here too. But I don't want to do this by an index, right? That's the missing piece. So, and like I could just hack together something, sure, but I would like to know and understand what's up, right? Select page and page options in a init state or outside your build method. Prevent rebuild whenever state is called. Okay. That again is kind of a different thing that we're trying to do here. Okay, so it's a shame that that package isn't going to work for us in this case. This is Rive. What's that? Who are you? What are you? Oh, you're some kind of a WYSIWYG thing using Flutter. Okay. Well, I don't want to do that. That's too many things. This is the other one from some rando. Okay, I don't need any of that. That is one of those big packages. All right, we're just gonna have to do this the hard way, I think. So let's also just do a quick looky. Get over here. Okay, so this is just a generic example. So they're doing string to map string. Okay, events, string state. Transition. That's machine. This feels similar to what we were looking at, right? Add this seems a little heavy-handed here for what we really want to do. Like, I don't want to do all of that, right? This should need to be very simple. It was already sort of questionable to use a package for it, right? Just because. Because we just want a really basic one. What do we got here? Everything stayed up. This is still. Okay, so how do I want to do this in the simplest way possible? I don't know if we can get away with making this simpler, though, in this idea, right? Just looking at this stuff again. I don't necessarily need this part. String variable, keep track of machine's current state. Nested map. If I did... For a second, I thought this was Kotlin. Nope. Flutter. Like, you kind of need to have the valid states that it can transition to, which means you kind of need a base class and then to extend it, right? Let's see here. Just looking at this again, thinking. The other question is, well, no, because we can subscribe to the state, so we get access to the things in it. But I don't know if that would give us access to the different things if we set them up someplace else. To the different states themselves. We'd get access to the machine that we set up, that we instantiated here. The other thing I could do, to be even more simple, because it doesn't need anything but, is this a valid transition? Is we could do, how do I do an enum again? So we could do, states, let's say, something like this. Enums can't be oh, right. We need to move you up. Do that. And then I guess we could do, we need to do a map. Valid state transfers, which could be, I don't want to be states then. Let's call you app state again. And then, how do I do a map in Dart? Because, oh, that's not what I want. App class. Capital, that's what's up. Map that, bop, 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 bop. Oh, but this needs to be the other way around. Okay. So I do that, that, that. Could just do a hash map. Ba, 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 ba. Double check that I'm doing this correctly. Want that. Wow, that's a mess. I'm just gonna YOLO that. App state, and then we're gonna want the second parameter is gonna be list of app state, like that. And we're gonna need to define that as well, or to specify that as well over here. That. Oh, I've messed up. That shouldn't be in here. Wait, it should be. I must be declaring this type incorrectly. Oh, okay. This, I don't need this. Can I not do... I want the map method. This is something else. Also something else. Expected a type name. Oh, maybe it's just... Maybe I don't need the brackets. Nope, I sure do. Expected define that. In the world am I doing silly here? That's what we would want to do. And it would want us to do that. That's fine, it can do that. I really think I need that, though. That makes it very unhappy, though. Like if we do a widget list, we define the type or we annotate the type like that. That doesn't seem to be allowed, though. very confused that this isn't just outlined here. That's a package for making actual maps. Map method. It's JSON decoding stuff. Map of map KV. Wish they had examples in the official docs. Oh, maybe they do. Okay. Yes. We could probably make it a final, but these are just the methods. It doesn't help me understand how to put the other thing I saw though. Was that. Aha, okay. So that seems to work. Okay, so then in here we need, for instance, login. And how do I do this again? Syntax for building you. I named login. Using enums. That's what I need to do. And then here, you're allowed to go to register. You're allowed to go to login. That should be sufficient for now. So. Hello? There we go. We can probably final that. I don't think we can const it. Maybe we can. Okay. So. And then in here, we say, we don't need var, we need app state. App state is app state dot login. And then we need a how do we want to handle a bad attempt? I guess you could throw an error. But notify listeners is the last thing we need to do in here. So we need to say, this needs new state. And then we need to say, is there a list contains, I think we have list contains, yes. So in here, what we do this. How do I get stuff out of um it is just brackets. Okay. New state. What is the behavior of it not not being there? It's a default. Contains key, but then I have to do it again. What about Flutter alt value of app key? Default value. Use if null. Okay. I guess we can just null check, because otherwise... Let's double check. This is going to say... this needs to be... a list of app state. Confused that I can't use that syntax here, but I can use it elsewhere. Like so. But this, we need to say that this could be nullable. I think. Oh, we need to do it over here is what we need to do. And then if it's null, in parens, then I also need to spell it correctly. Can I not? I can't. Oh, duh. I'm just asleep. There we go. Throw. How do I do my own exception that has a good message? I would need to. We're handling format exception. There we go. Okay. And I can say invalid app state, and then I can do app state. This is incorrect. This needs to be app state. This also needs to be or file transfers contains new state. Oops. Can I not? Do I need to do that? I do need that. Okay. Invalid app state. We need one of those. Whatever the current state is cannot change to new state. There. Otherwise, new state. And then we notify listeners like that. Now, this should give us all the bits and pieces we truly need without a ton of extra stuff. I hope. And I need to double check that we had to do create in the client here. Return material app. It came even before that. Return change notifier provider. And then we did create context client. Ugh, I can't type. Client state. I need to put you down here. Child of this is material app. So this needs provider. Was that a PubSpec thing? It is. It is a PubSpec thing. What is the most recent version? Provider. This is from Dash Overflow. All right. .1.5 plus 1. And we were using 6.1.5. Okay, so we were still using the current version before. I don't want that. I want this. Guess we can do that. Guess it's not the end of the world. Okay, that fixes that up. Okay, now, oops, I guess. I did pull you. I wonder if it's because I had you before. Import package provided art. Now you work. Okay, perfect. So that Takes care of that. We now need to, in our login page, not login page, up here in our main window state. What was the code we used? Create state. You could stay stateful. Context.watch. That's what it is. So in here, watch client state, like so. Why are you? Oh, because you need to go, oops, into the build. Yes, okay. And then we can do here, app state, which I don't love as a name, but we'll fix that here in a second. So we switch on you. I think we need parens around this too. And this is going to say we don't have, yeah, not exhaustive. Okay, so I think over here what we did was we threw unimplemented error. Okay. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Oh, actually, we could use that up here instead of format exception. I wish. Flutter exceptions. Exception types. Not a ton of them. Path exception. Doesn't even include unimplemented whatchamacallit, error. Hmm. Just give me a list of the exceptions that are built in. I would like to use the correct one. Okay, for now, because it's annoyingly hard to find that, apparently. We can use that still. That's still a decent, Okay, sure, fine. That's still a decent type for it. So we want to do the same thing here. In our switch, default that, and we say invalid, or rather no page configured for app state. This needs to go into parens because we're accessing property here. Oops. Not parens, but curly braces. That takes care of that. Now we just need to, and in fact, no page configured for login. Perfect. Now we just need to say case login, and here we need to define display page. Let's just say this is login page, and then state dot register page, like so. That's fine. Don't you dare. Well, I guess, yeah, we'll leave that because it could be good in the future as we add things here. Now, this child becomes display page, like so. And we should still have our login page up. And we do. Perfect. That's what we want. Now, we still want to do this. I want this to be a better name. I want this to be a better name too. Because it is the app state, but could we call you client stage? I like that a little bit. And then we can call you stage. You could be change stage. I like that better, I think. And then the app state is our actual... Wait, no, I lied. This... Let's make you client state. Now app state no longer exists there. It's all named more betterer, I hope. Display page, good, okay. Now, in here, we also need to get the context just for the sake of being able to throw that in. Put you in the wrong spot again. You go inside of build. We grab our client state. Then in the create a new account on pressed, we say state dot change stage to client stage dot register. And we don't need to call, or we don't need that, we need a comma. There we go. And then in the same Same deal down here. Cancel. We need to remember to put in that. I don't know if it needs to go here or here. We'll put it, oops. It's fine, whatever. Put you up here just in case. And then back here in cancel, we do client state dot change stage client stage dot login, so that it goes back and forth. Now, create new account takes us here. Cancel takes us back. And if we put junk in here, it's cleared. I'm perfectly happy with that. I don't need to have it saved. I don't care about that. In fact, I think I'd prefer it not to save. So, perfect. I wonder if that's a debug thing where it does that sometimes, or flickers. Interesting. Anywho. So that gets us a really, 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 really basic state machine that's good enough to drive the UI stuff. I'm happy with that because it's simple, right? So let's test. I don't really know how I want to automatedly test this because it's UI stuff, right? But we can just say, let's, for fun, say that foo is a state. Nothing knows how to go to foo or to come from it. That's fine. It's so hot in here tonight. Okay, so when we do our login page here, let's intentionally blow it up really quick to see. Oh, nothing except no exception comes out. Okay, that's not great. It's probably going into, yeah, it's going into the console. But there's also nothing that the user could do about that. So we'll put that back for now. And yeah, we'll kind of think about that in the background. How do we want to handle that more gracefully or more usefully? For now, let's do a quick commit. Set up global app state and navigation between login and register pages. Happy with that for now as a progress step. All right, now we're going to have to start getting into... Actually, I think I want to reorganize things a little bit before I dive into more. We're going to need to do WebSockets next, but I don't know how I want to lay that out just yet. It's going to certainly involve like back-endy type, back-endy in kind of a different server communication code. That's what I want. So that's going to need to go in a place that we can call. And we'll have to look at that. But this is already becoming a huge file, right? And I think I want to do, and I don't know if this is like Flutter approved, quote unquote, you know, like something that they would think is a good idea. I guess it'd be a package. And what did I call you? I called you login text field. I'm not sure. Dart file. I think we want dashes. Don't ask me these things. I want to extract out of this file my field for sure. And then here, well, that ain't great. Can I do... Is that where you live? It is where you live. Okay. So that goes in there. And then here, package, login text field. Perfect. And then that isn't a lowercase with underscores identifier. Okay, that's fine. Couldn't remember if it was dashes or underscores that Dart really, really, really wanted. That's fine. We can fix that. Let's also don't know. I want to put you, I think I want this package to be widgets, I guess. Where are you? Don't change that. Don't change that. This, though. There. Sure, I guess. I don't love that as a package name. It's long, but it's fine. It'll be okay. Then all of this can live over here nice and quietly. And we can be done with him. And let's also just relaunch to make sure everything is still good. I should really check. Let's clean up these tabs. I have too many tabs going on now. We're done with the bulk of that work. I want to know Flutter package best practices. This is just package management. I don't. Project structure do you use? This might be good. Features, screens, okay. But like all of this is kind of home, right? So that's kind of silly. Pages, widgets, utilities, main Dart. See, I don't like this. This pulls too many things too far apart. So I think I'm on the right track here with widgets, right? But we also, I like screens. That makes sense to my brain. Screens. And then I can leave stuff like that can stay. These guys can stay. They're global, right? Clear that away just because it annoys me. And then we'll come back here. I closed my thing. I shouldn't have done that. Let's do that instead. Okay. I'll just let you float over here to let me know if I broke anything irreparably. So client can stay in here. Main window can probably stay in here. But for screens, Dart file. Should they give a little more detail here? Pages, widgets, utilities, main. Let's actually take a quick look at this other thing they linked. That's so bright. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. We'll have to look into version or something maybe at some point. I don't know if it'll matter. Okay, that didn't really tell us a whole lot. I think I'm just going to keep going with my gut here. So in here, I was kind of looking for like naming conventions just to see if anybody had anything to share. But I mean, we can kind of see this, right? So let's do login Dart. And then all of the login page can come over here. It's going to be a little unhappy with me for a second, but that's fine. We need to import material for that. This will also need provider and client state, which is going to live in there. Can I do that? It seems I can. Okay, perfect. And then this guy actually needs to come over here so that I can use him in this. Perfect. Now, I just need to package client screens, login, Dart, like so. That should fix that. And I'm still cooking with gas here. Perfect. My hope is that I can actually get rid of some of the imports in here. I'm going to need all of this stuff, though, here in just a second. We're going to do Dart file, register, Dart, pull that out. I believe I'll need all of that. Register page. You come over here now. Yeah, I don't need that anymore. I import you. Things get groovy. You. Boop. Let's restart it just to be sure. Make sure nothing is cached or something in hot reloady land. Okay, create new, cancel. Life is looking good. Ooh, yeah, that's fine. Everything happy. Okay. Shut up. Shouldn't even be running anymore. I think that's fine. So we'll need to do I guess it'd be controllers to do the WebSocket stuff, right? But that's going to come in from over here, and we'll be able to, so when you click register, it'll fire it off, do some statey stuff, right? Perfect. We'll also display the messages in here. We'll probably create a widget for that, maybe. Or maybe we can get over with just the vanilla widgets. Either way, we'll do a status widget type thing. But yeah, I think that's good. That's a good place to be at for right now. Let's make sure we do break up massive main file, extract the screens and widgets for organization. Push that up. And we're going to call it there for tonight because that's 2 hours, and I'm going to go turn the AC on so I can stop melting. So, thank you for hanging out, visiting. It was good to see everybody. I do this thing normally Friday through Monday every week for about 2 hours a night. So, come back again. I'd love to see you. I start at 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time, CDT. If you know what that means. If not, Twitch, you can check the schedule. YouTube, you'll have to do math. But yeah, I'd love to see you again. If not, hey, you guys have a great weekend anyway. We'll catch you some other time. Thanks again, everybody.